Welcome to It's Pittsfield Tonight. This is season 1, episode 7. Got a great show for you. Tonight's special guests are Steve Bateman, also Karen Ryan and Betsy Sherman from the Christian Center, and our musical guest is James Ryan with special guest Mark Franklin with him. So really looking forward to tonight's show. You know, funny thing, it's not really funny, but on my way into the studio tonight, coming down North Street, I saw that there was an accident. So Thursday night, there was an accident, and it appeared to be a vehicle turning, going to make a right turn, and another vehicle traveling down the bicycle lane smashed and T-boned that car. That's what it looked like to me, and from what I understand, that's exactly what happened. I hope everyone's okay there, but that's exactly what some people's concerns were about the layout. It's not against bicycles, it's not against any of that. It's about the layout of North Street. And you know, you see a lot of this theater we've seen during the council meetings. I mean, it's over the top drama sometimes, which I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps unify the community, and it's not a good look for the city of Pittsfield. And then you'll hear statistics used. They're twisted this way and that way, and you know, you can kind of do that with statistics sometimes. Like, here's a statistic for you. If you live in Pittsfield, you're 1,000 times more likely of being a victim of a crime in Pittsfield than you would be in Guadalajara, unless you're on vacation in Guadalajara. Like when I was young, we took the Love Boat to Puerto Vallarta. I got off there, and then it continued on to Guadalajara. But that's a stat though. I mean, you could actually argue that. Or how about the hospital, right? I mean, because statistically, hospitals are the most dangerous place you could go, right? Because more people die in hospitals than anywhere else. So that makes hospitals a scary place. Why would anyone go to a hospital? Because statistically, they're that bad. So again, it's how you twist and turn stats, and or how you word things. Like just the other day, I was thinking, this year I want to do something to my yard this spring. So I called up a landscape company, and they told me, look, we'd love to help you, but there's nothing we can do. Your yard's in portrait. And I thought, oh man. So then I called up a portrait company, and I said, I was referred to you guys. Is there anything you can help me with? And they said, what, do you need a picture? And I said, no, I want to get my yard done. They said, oh, you're going to need to call a landscaper. I said, I tried that. That's where I started, going around in a circle. But, I don't know. Nothing is as it seems anymore. I mean, remember the good days when you'd wake up in the morning and you'd turn on the TV, or you'd look out your window at the thermometer and you'd go, that's the temperature today. Now we don't even know what the temperature is. I wake up in the morning, I turn on the TV, or I look at one of my weather apps, and it says, the temperature today is 33 with a feels like temperature of 30 and a wind chill of minus 18. I don't know what's happening. I mean, or in the summer, they tell you it's going to be 81 today with a feels like temp of 89. Well, how do you not know? That's just not what 89 feels like. And who's deciding it feels like that? I used to ask my father, you all right today? You warm? You called him. They put him on Coumadin when he got older for his blood. It was always cold to him. He says, it feels cold to me. I said, well, that's what it feels like then. Must be 63 today, even though the thermometer says 91. So, I don't know. Everything is individual perception. Nothing is what it seems. Nobody knows what's going on. I don't know. Very confusing at times. So, anyway, we got a great show for you tonight. And before we get into it, I've got my comments for this week, so we're going to go through a few of those. RW writes, thanks for the show. Although you're stealing my Led Zeppelin t-shirt look in CBGBs. Black is slimming. I get it. Well, I'm assuming maybe that's because last week I wore black, and it could be in reference to this little belly I started to put on over the winter. But where's my button? Right here. So speaking of that, on my drive in here, when I saw that accident, I got all excited, not in a good way. But I got excited, and I pulled the car over, threw my seatbelt off, got out, and as I was getting up, the button popped right off of my shirt. And I said, wow, that's not good. So I found it, luckily, and I picked it up off the dashboard, and I said, who decided that this is the standard of cuteness? It's not that cute to me. It's got 4 holes, it's plastic. I've got a pine cone at home that's a little cuter than this. But somewhere along the lines, I guess that's it. That's the cuteness. So there you go. But anyways, I think there's more than 10 or 20 Led Zeppelin shirts out there, but anyway, sorry I stole your look. SM writes, are you single? No, there's two of me, actually. My brother, though, again, he was maybe the one who got off the ship in Puerto Vallarta when we were on the Love Boat. I went on to Guadalajara, so no. Or am I? I don't know. I can't remember. Here we go. Frustrating that people do not want a more walkable city. The old way did not work. We voted our counselors in to make decisions. I'm assuming this is in reference to the bike lanes. Again, nobody's against a walkable city. Although, like those standing escalators or elevators at LAX, that'd be fun if those were all in place of our sidewalks. But nobody's against a walkable city. I think everybody just wants something that we can all agree on. You know, everything doesn't have to be so matter-of-fact my way or the highway. You know, that's why I can't even watch the news anymore. Because what is the national news now? It's one network reporting on what the other network said. If all these networks would shut down for 2 months, the country would be a better place, in my opinion. But no, I'm all for a walkable city. I don't want it to walk away too far, though. You need another haircut. Beat you to it. Why do you hate the Bird e-scooters so much? I don't hate Bird e-scooters. I didn't think that their ride share was a good fit for Pittsfield. We'll see what happens. They did finally put out their financials tomorrow, which is today, if that makes sense. Only here on It's Pittsfield Tonight in the morning, afternoon. So anyway, I'll be talking about that in another video later on. But I don't hate the Bird e-scooters, just not a fan of the whole rideshare rental program. Why are you always with John Kroll lately? Yes, well, many of you didn't know that. I spent a lot of time with John now. In fact, John and Cara got a nice sized dog bed that they put on the side of their bed now, and that's where I sleep at night. Although every now and then I try to climb up to the end of the bed and I get the old heave-ho, get off of there. But other than that, we spend all our time together. He's going to take me to the park tomorrow. And yeah, that's it for that. So again, really special show for you tonight. Steve Bateman will be talking about the Harry A. Bateman Memorial Jimmy Fund Fishing Derby. Karen Ryan is here with Betsy Sherman from the Christian Center in Pittsfield. And our musical guest is James Ryan, and he'll be accompanied by Mark Franklin on guitar. So, going to be a great show. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. We're going to cut to a quick word from one of our local sponsors, and then we'll get right into it.
H&S Investigations Group can provide security for your special event, your retail business, or almost any of your other needs. We can have unarmed, armed security personnel, whichever you prefer, uniformed, and plain clothes. If you're looking for a security officer wearing a suit and tie, you can have that too. Call us today, 413-822-9036.
All right, welcome back, everyone. My first guest is a lifelong Pittsfieldian. He is the proud husband, father, and grandfather. He's a graduate of Taconic High School, a local musician, one of my favorites, and he is also the founder of the Harry A. Bateman Memorial Jimmy Fund Fishing Derby. Welcome to the show, Steve Bateman.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. This is a nice thing you're doing here, and a nice show for Pittsfield, too.
Yeah, it's fun. I like... a lot of the people like yourself that I've had on are people that I know. So, and you're a very well-known person in the community. So, we'll start with the fishing derby because that's coming up in June, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be June 3rd this year at Frank Controy Pavilion at Noda Lake, and it's from 6 to 12, and we try to get everybody out of there early, and there's nothing like it. Everybody that's been to this says there's nothing like it. They've never seen anything like it. And it's very unique because our main goal is for people to have fun. And then the money comes second,
Right.
Which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But we want everybody to leave there having a great time. And we raised a record amount of money for Dana-Farber last year, over $10,000. And we had a record number of people there. And everybody left having a great time. And it's not only for kids, it's for families and adults, and I got a great team that helps me do all this stuff, so I'm not doing it by myself, and And the community is great. I don't have a major sponsor. It's all local friends, local businesses I'm friends with.
Now, last year, there was a tremendous amount of bicycles and fishing gear and things that you gave away to the kids, which was that was incredible.
Oh, yeah. And you normally have 6 bicycles. Last year, we had 8. We had a donor came up the last minute, and he said, I would like to donate 2 bikes in memory of a good friend of ours, Carl DeLuce, who passed away. And he said, just don't tell him where you got it from, and to make sure the kids that win this don't have a bicycle at all. So we set it up for kids that didn't have a bike, and everybody's pretty honest, and they marked down if they didn't have a bicycle or not. And 2 kids came home really happy, plus the other 6 kids that won.
Now,
bicycles.
was a lot of the giveaways, was that separate from the fishing part of it? They weren't awards for like...
No. Those are door prizes. We have 15 trophies with prizes going with the trophies. We have a special prize we give out with a trophy with a tackle box loaded with stuff, and we call that the Sportsman Award. And that's for the child that's... You don't even have to catch anything, but if we see you're giving the effort in, you're out there fishing, you could be bringing in a 2-ounce fish, but you're not giving up, and we give it to the kid we deemed is working out there the hardest, and they walk away with a tackle box. And then we have another tackle box with all the bicycles. After they're all gone, we raffle off that tackle box to the children, and that's loaded with the same amount of stuff in it.
And there's also prizes for, like, I know wasn't there a prize for like the biggest fish or something like that?
Everything's based on the heaviest fish. And then we have a special heaviest fish for adult or child, and that's a bass. We have adult or child trout. We have 2 of them for that, 1 for each. And then there's a carp, and we have a carp shoot, which is another unique thing at our fishing derby. Carp has to be weighed in with a bow and arrow. An adult or child can win that. And then we also have a perch and crappie division. An adult and child can win that. And the adults can weigh in bass, pike, pickerel, trout, salmon. Children can weigh in anything. And we have that category broken up to game fish, bass, pike, pickerel, trout, and salmon, and then everything else, because most kids are catching bluegill,
right,
rock bass, a pumpkin seed, and you'll see kids winning a trophy and the prizes with an 8-ounce fish.
I saw a lot of kids with big smiles on their face last year.
Last year we gave out a record. We gave out fish poles to a lot of kids that didn't have a fishing pole. We introduced many children to fishing. It's another thing unique about this event. It's a fundraiser, but we have people paying for children and their one parent to go to this fundraiser that don't have the opportunity or who have never fished. And we probably set up maybe 15, 20 kids who never fished before, and it was all paid for
awesome.
By donors of the community.
Now,
Westside
you yourself, are you the sole organizer of this in the beginning, or?
No, it started out with, I talked to my wife about it, and I said, it was either an archery shoot or a fishing derby, because that's all my father did. We decided on fishing, so my wife, and then I talked it over with my family members, and one of my best friends, Steve Gingras, we've been friends since kindergarten. He came along and he said, hey, I'm helping you out with this, and he's been by my side ever since.
And that was, what year was that?
That was in '92 we thought of it, and our first fishing derby was 1993.
Wow.
And it was very humbling. It downpoured all day. I think we had 52 people there, and we just kept raising it and raising it and raising it, and we give out more prizes, I think, than anybody. Everybody leaves away with a great experience of fishing, and it's a great family event. We have people coming from all over the place to this.
Now, tell us a little bit about your dad, why this is a memorial in his honor.
Yeah, well, he died of cancer at 51, and it was a horrible thing. He really suffered, and we were thinking if we give out something in his name, it's got to have something to do with children and something to do with cancer, and that's why we picked the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute down in Boston in the Jimmy Fund, because we wanted money going in his name to help out children. And that's how it all started. And I got family members and friends, and my father's good friend, Jack Danilin, Bruce McGivern, and John Drury. There's actually a lot of their ideas for this event came from them. And they told me, they said, hey, listen, check out everybody's event. I know you go, but you just go and pay for the cause. I wasn't paying attention. And then, so I went to all these events, and they just well, don't do this because they're doing that. Do something different, and then kick it up a notch. And that's how it all started. And,
Have you seen it grow every year?
oh yeah, and every year we learn something new. Every year we add something. This year we're doing a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of this for the rest of the entirety of the fishing derby. I said I would do it till I dropped dead, so I probably lived to 150. But
I hope so.
but people that lost their loved ones, they come to this and they see the event and they're like, "You think you could donate a prize in memory of our loved one lost?" And we've already had response. So a lot of prizes you're going to see this year is going to be in memory of people, and on the prize and donated by the families in memory of things. And
I could see myself last year, because last year was special because it was coming out of the crazy time we were in, and I think people were anxious to get out.
Oh, they were.
And you could see a lot of emotion. Different reasons why people were there, whether it was in memory of someone they lost or. I just thought it was an incredible community event, and to see hundreds and hundreds of people there, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, last year was just like our last one in 2019. We had a great derby like that too. We also had a huge crowd, a record crowd that year, and we were hoping it in 20. And then with the COVID, we were shut down 2 years. We call it the 31st. We canceled 2, but funds were still sent down those 2 years, so we counted the 2 years. So this is our 31st one, but everybody needed to get out. People were itching to get out, and they showed last year.
Now, for people who want to donate or help out, how can they do that, and how can they get in touch with you?
We're on Facebook. You could just type in Harry Bateman Jimmy Fun Fishing Derby, and a page will pop right up. And you could also look at that if you're not a Facebook member. You could see that.
So everything's set to public on that?
Yeah, set to public. There's contact information where you can contact us on the committee, and if you want to donate a prize, if you want to be a sponsor and help out getting prizes, or if you just want to put a donation and add it with the funds to send down there, and we can get all that done. It's Harry Bateman Fishing Derby at 118 Gale Avenue, Pittsfield, Mass. 01201, and people can donate to that, and we have a lot of.
And as far as volunteers, do you need help with the tournament? Or
we have a committee with my wife's in charge of registration, my cousin Veronica's in charge of the kitchen, my son and Steve Jamers's son, they take care of the weigh-in, and everybody's got their own certain little things. But we're always, anybody that wants to help, we're not going to say no to anybody. Actually, had the crippled old busted bikers. They were out there last year, and they had a ball teaching kids how to fish. And that's another great organization. Those guys are just out there helping everybody with fundraisers and causes. And those guys, they go, we can't wait to come back next year.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have known each other forever.
Oh, yeah,
and aside from music,
Yeah.
fishing and hunting is something that have kept us out of trouble our whole lives.
Yeah. Both our parents did that, and it's just kind of a lost art because a lot of kids, they're sitting at that video game, and get them out there. All the prizes we give out at the fishing derby, they're all geared for outside.
Yep.
All geared to stay outside. And we like to see the kids get outside. And I tell the kids that taking up fishing, you got to get out of the house when you get older. You either got to fish or golf. You got to do one of the two to get out there.
Absolutely.
And you need to get outside and have a good time.
Well, I encourage people to donate, or just to get more information on it. Check out the Facebook page, and it's the Harry A. Bateman Memorial Jimmy Fun Fishing Derby. And yeah, it's a great event. It's something a lot of people look forward to every year. Steve, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, Mike, hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. And then hopefully we'll see you again this year, and hopefully we'll have another killer event.
I'll absolutely be there, no doubt.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think we're going to have just as good, or not, if not better than last year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break from one of our local sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Stop in this week and mention it's Pittsfield tonight, and you can take 25% off any regularly priced item.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So my next guest has been a Pittsfield resident for the past 13 years. She's also been with the Christian Center in Pittsfield for the past 13 years. She's the Director of Food Services and Services Coordinator, Karen Ryan. And sitting next to Karen is a Berkshire resident of the past 40 years. She's been also with the Christian Center in Pittsfield since 2013, and she is currently the Executive Director, Betsy Sherman. So thank you, ladies, for taking the time to do this today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, my pleasure. So the Christian Center, I know, does a ton of good work in the community. Tell us a little bit about the role that the Christian Center plays.
Would you like to start?
Well, the Christian Center has multiple services. We are a food pantry. We are a meal site. We serve lunch every day. And we have a free clothing boutique. The interesting thing about the Christian Center is that it's 131 years old. We're the oldest social service agency in Pittsfield and probably Berkshire County. It was begun as a mission to immigrants from the diaspora, from the South, Black African American citizens coming north, and also European immigrants coming into Pittsfield looking for jobs. And the West Side was the place where they came, and there was a need for essentially the services we still offer today.
Now, where is the, for those who don't know, the address?
It is 193 Robbins Street. It's at the corner of Robbins and Linden.
And has it always been at that
It has been there
location?
since 1906.
Wow.
It was founded in 1892 and then moved into that building in 1906. So we have been there for well over a century.
Wow, well, that's impressive.
And again, doing just essentially the same things that they did 131 years ago. You know, finding people housing, finding people, feeding people, helping them find jobs, helping them find a home. And,
Now, how did you get into that line of work yourself?
I've been a volunteer there for 30 years, off and on, and I just find that the need is great. I've always been sort of oriented to services that I was a nurse for 20 years, so I have always been working with people, and so when the job arose, it seemed that I could offer something.
Okay. And Karen, how about you?
Well, I came to Pittsfield almost 13 years ago, and I found myself at the Christian Center volunteering. I have a huge place in my heart for the Christian Center. I was homeless when I came out here, and like myself and many other who's the Christian Center has given opportunities to. I started off volunteering there, and kind of that's history. But I enjoy being there because I can give back to the community. Being someone in recovery, being someone who is homeless, being able to, because we serve a lot of that population on a daily basis. Working with mothers and their children, DCF, helping people get into, recovery services. I've brought in a few different places to offer recovery services that come in weekly to the Christian Center. So it's just a passion of mine. I love being there. I love helping people.
And it's people like yourself, what you guys do is such a needed thing in the community. And it seems like since the pandemic, needed more than it has been.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you are seeing
Yeah,
absolutely.
we never
It's going to
closed
change.
during the pandemic. We stayed open straight through, and we've seen our numbers have increased, especially with the food, the cost of food rising. We serve probably 500 people a week. With food and clothing and services, referral services, all the agencies we have coming in. We have Berkshire County Regional Housing that comes in weekly. We have WIC that comes in, Fallon Health. We had BCAC in there yesterday. We have the Breen Center in there. So we get a lot of services. It's not just about what we offer, but we want to offer everything that's.
So it's more of a community hub?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes.
We don't have the capability to offer all those services, but we can help people, assist them with contact. The agencies come and see clients, and that way they get the services they need. Without our taking over, a huge number of different resources.
Now, are you mainly staffed with volunteers, or
So we've always mainly been run off volunteers. There's 4 paid staff there.
Okay.
But mainly, our volunteers come from, probation, the courts, DTA, people who have to volunteer, other community organizations, or just community members who want to volunteer. And they're each in the boutique, food pantry, cooking in the kitchen, helping take care of the grounds. So yeah, we're mainly volunteers.
Wow. And what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing, the past few years?
Certainly fundraising.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge in that people are extremely generous. I don't mean to say that we struggle, but the cost of everything's going up. And our income is solely derived from donations. We do write grants, but most of those are not for operating, so our operating costs are covered by the donations that people make.
Okay.
And they range, anything from $1 at the desk, to larger amounts from agencies and individuals.
And for people who want to help out or want to donate or want to volunteer, well, we'll start with the people who want to donate. What are some of the biggest items or things that you're in need of?
In terms of material things?
Yes, would it be clothing or?
Clothing all year round. Certainly clothing is lovely, but we also always need shoes. The things that people don't necessarily think of when they think of clothing: shoes, socks, underwear, outerwear. Not just winter coats, but a raincoat, umbrellas, the kinds of things that people use in everyday life that if you don't have a lot of money, don't have
Blankets.
any money, or you're homeless, you don't have.
Blankets, blankets
Lots
is a
of
huge
blankets.
thing, especially with the homeless.
All sorts
Do
of
you
house
serve a
items.
lot of those that are in homelessness?
Yes.
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 Have you seen an increase in that recently, or?
Yes.
Yes, and particularly the unhoused homeless. They're not in a shelter anywhere.
Yeah, because being downtown Pittsfield, I see a lot of that, and it seems really in the past couple of years it's increased dramatically.
Yes.
Yeah, it has.
It has.
People, and it's going to be, hate to be doom and gloom, but it's going to be worse because all the protections that people had against eviction are being let go. They're being dropped. And the protections that they had against food insecurity, increased EBT cards, that's all going away. I know Massachusetts is working to keep the protections there for a little bit longer, but it's finite. And so when that happens, people are going to need more food. They're going to need us more in that regard, but they're also going to have to choose between housing and food.
Okay, so how can people get in touch with you to donate or make a donation or?
Certainly, they can just call us 413-443-2828.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Karen and I answer the phone.
And do you guys do social media for the Christian Center, or?
Yes, we have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So can they reach out to you through
So
there
they can
also?
reach out,
Yes.
through our Facebook page. Yep. And then
Absolutely.
we have a website too.
We have
so
a
they can go
website.
onto our website. Our emails are on there.
Okay.
Right.
I know in the winter, you know, a lot of people think winter clothing and all
Yeah.
that, but I imagine year round you
Year-round.
do need.
Oh, year
Yeah,
round.
yes,
I mean, we
absolutely.
probably to date, we've given out like 800 winter coats to families.
Wow.
I mean, and that's every year. A lot of our families are coming in, they can't afford clothes, for their children, and so our boutique has men, women, children items, clothing, shoes. We have household items. We also have a back area where we have dishes and pots and pans and microwaves and toasters and sheets and blankets and curtains. So, we work with local agencies, housing, if someone's moving into an apartment or coming out of the shelter, St. Joe's, they'll call us and we pack up some boxes of household stuff for them to get
So
started.
anything like utensils,
Yes,
Anything,
microwaves.
We don't take furniture. That's it. We don't have room for it.
Does should it be new, I'm assuming? Or
No,
not
I mean,
necessarily?
No, gently used.
Gently used.
When people are evicted, many times they're evicted at very short notice, and they lose everything. So when they transition back from a shelter or couch surfing or whatever, when they actually get another home, they have nothing to furnish it with. So, the kitchen items at least are something that they can cook. We can offer them food and they can cook it.
Now, do you have an area in there where people can actually come in if they're homeless and eat there on the premises?
Oh yeah, yep. So we're pretty much the only. So we open 5 days a week. We're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 2. So 8:30 is our doors open for breakfast. We have breakfast, coffee, we have cereal, fresh fruit, oatmeal, bagels. We had today bagels and cream cheese. So we have a lot of the unsheltered who aren't staying at the shelter right there at 8:30 when we open the door to come
Wow,
in.
okay.
Yeah.
And some of them will stay all day until lunch at 12. Some of them will leave and then they'll come back at noontime. But from 8:30 to 12, they can come in and warm up and shop.
So there's a lot of people relying on you guys for...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, like I said, we're, our food, you can get food pantry 5 days a week, clothing 5 days a week, breakfast 5 days a week, lunch 5 days a week. We're there. So, and it's good because people know that. And our social media, I run the social media page, so I, put on like what's for lunch. I'm always putting on different sites.
What's in the freezer?
What we have
refrigerator.
for food or what we're having for breakfast so people know.
Do you find that a good tool to reach out to people and communicate with people, though, being able to do that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, we have a lot of followers on our page, and I try to share it to the 411 or Pittsfield Good News, different sites so people can see it. And we do a lot of events, like we try to do every, holiday or, for St. Patrick's Day, we have, corned beef and cabbage. We have a big free raffle where we're giving out gift cards and household items.
So obviously you could probably use some donations to contribute to that?
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say one of the things that we've seen an increase in our Spanish-speaking population has just skyrocketed.
Really?
And so we now have Spanish speakers on the property 3 days a week, the busiest days.
Okay.
Because it facilitates meeting their needs and it makes them more comfortable coming. And so,
I'm sure.
So we have somebody at the desk and somebody in the boutique 3 out of the 5 days.
Well, I definitely thank both of you for taking the time to do this. The work that you guys do is so vital to the community. And
Thank you.
It definitely is, and I know there's a huge need for it. So I encourage everyone that follows this page to reach out to them through their Facebook page or call them directly. Make a donation if you can, or if you want to volunteer your services. I'm sure there's somebody there that can guide you in that direction. And again, I can't thank you enough for the work you do and taking the time to meet with me today.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and we'll be right back in a minute. All right, welcome back. My next guest is James Ryan, who is Karen's son. James is 16. He's a student at PHS. He's a singer, and he's been singing since the age of 3. And with him will be Mark Franklin, who is a retired teacher, and he'll be accompanying James on guitar. So we're just going to cut over to James and Mark for a quick song.
The times I cry, we come too close, and every night the passion's there, so it's gotta be right. No, I don't believe you when you say don't come around anymore. I won't remind you, you said we wouldn't be apart. No, I don't believe you when you say you don't need me anymore. So don't pretend to not love me at all. I don't mind it, I still don't mind at all. It's like one of those bad dreams when you can't wake up. It looks like right. No, I don't believe you when you say you don't need me anymore. I won't remind you, you said we wouldn't be apart. No, I don't believe you when you say you don't need me anymore. So don't pretend to not love me at all.
Stop in this week and mention it's Pittsfield Tonight, and you can take 25% off any regularly priced item.
All right, I want to thank tonight's guests again, Steve, Karen, Betsy, James, that was awesome, and Mark. It was a great song, and not an easy thing to just sit there in front of strangers like this, so I really enjoyed that. The Jimmy Fund, the Harry A. Bateman Memorial Fishing Derby is June
3rd.
June 3rd. Check out their Facebook page, and please make a donation. And of course, the Christian Center in Pittsfield's Facebook page, and your phone number again is
413-443-2828.
And definitely visit them online or give them a call and donate, volunteer, but get involved. They're such an important organization to our community. And thank you again, James and Mark. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'll see you all next week.